This will be takeouts only.
So when you start telling jokes, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, right.
Oh, this could go off the rails quickly then. This is a bad idea.
No, I got one you guys never heard before. What's a pirate's favorite letter?
R. No?
You think it'd be the R. It'd actually be the C.
The C.
The C.
The C. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's not actually C, it's P. Because without it, they're irate.
Okay, that's good. I'm turning off the recording right now. I'm doing the edit.
Let's just shut this whole thing down. This was a bad idea.
That's
all right. That's the end. That's all right. Well, I didn't say I was a good comedian. I just said I was a comedian, just not the funny kind.
That's good, actually. That's good. All right. Well, I don't know what happened to Rhonda. Hopefully she's okay. We've had a few people who have canceled every now and again. They have illness in the family or whatever. So hopefully she's okay.
Have either of you guys dealt with anyone, immediate family or close relatives that have gotten the virus?
No close relatives. I've had a couple of close friends.
Wow.
Couple of close friends who they've made it through it, right? One guy I know was really, really sick. He was a classmate of mine in high school. And he was really sick for like 8 or 9 days. And then he's on the mend now.
Yeah. Yeah, I have an uncle that found out he had it after he didn't have it anymore. His test was on like March 17th or something like that. And he just got the results yesterday.
Wow.
Saying that, yes, you had it.
Great, thanks.
You probably don't now. Yeah. So he's on the mend too, dealing with he was dealing with bronchitis too. But yeah, it's crazy that it took that long for him to find out that, no, you did have it.
Yeah. I mean, this will all blow over as long as we live. Right. That's the one. Yeah. This is, it's serious. I mean, people are dying left and right, It's, I don't know. That's our primary job.
Stay alive.
Hopefully at the end.
Stay alive and be around for, as Joshua said, be around for the new normal. Be around for whatever that holds for us.
Yeah.
Hopefully the ones of us that survive, we actually go and we start living again, or start living. I usually differentiate between the two. Coming from corporate America, so.
I just want to go rock climbing again.
Yeah, get back to Smith Rock.
That's what I want to do. I want to go out and do some climbing, and I got a little wall I built in my basement. I can climb around, at least pretend. I'll probably build another part of the wall this weekend. That's one of my honeydews. All right, we got 3 minutes. We got the recording going. We've got the button push for live streaming. All right, pretty cool. When we get to like 2 minutes, I'll mute you guys and turn both your videos off, and it'll seem like an eternity to get to the top of the hour, but
no, all good.
That's all right. I think that's been one of the important things for a lot of people too, is realizing how important it is to be flexible during these times.
Yeah.
That it's not always going to work out exactly the way you think it is or the way you want it to these days. So being able to roll with it a little bit is definitely important.
Yeah, one of the coaches that I have, his name is Bill Heinrich, and I work with Bill pretty closely. He's on my Speakers Pathway team. And one of the things he always says is, my life is out of control. So is yours.
Yeah.
And the more energy you put into trying to control it, the worse we're.
Oh, there's Rhonda.
All right. Hello, Rhonda.
Hi there.
Hey, Rhonda, how are you?
Great. Hi, Josh.
Right. So we're getting ready to go live at the top of the hour. The way this is going to work, I'm going to turn everybody's video and mute everybody. I'll do a little intro, and then I'll give a rundown of all the speakers, and then one at a time, I'll introduce you. The one thing important, Rhonda, is that when I introduce you, I'll say something like, the stage is all yours. I'll turn off my video and mute myself and just pause for like a second so that we can edit your presentation out and make that into a video to post.
Alone.
So we're not like talking over each other. And then same thing at the end, say thank you in some way, however you want to thank people.
Okay.
And then just be quiet for a second while I come back in.
So should I introduce myself again?
You can introduce yourself, tell a little bit about yourself.
Because you're separating out your introduction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And
Okay.
all right, well, I'm going to.
Are we allowed to give a URL? We didn't.
Yeah,
get any details
absolutely.
about
No
that.
selling, but you can give a free gift.
Great.
All right, I'm going to turn your videos off. Video. Hi, this is Don McGrath, co-founder of Speakers Pathway Coalition, and we are the sponsors of this virtual stage platform that we've created for messages of inspiration, hope, and support. We got a call for speakers. We have about over 120 speakers who are on a lineup. We're doing these daily, weekdays, 3 speakers every single day, sharing messages of inspiration, hope, and support. Our why we did this, people say, why are you doing this? Well, we're doing it because we asked ourselves, how can we serve in these times? The Speakers Pathway, the team got together, how can we serve? And we decided that based upon what we do, we're a virtual training company. One of the things we can do is create a virtual stage and get some positivity and some great information out there. So that's why we did it. The speakers have really enjoyed having a platform. Now that there's not a lot of physical platforms for them, they've enjoyed having this opportunity. Ooh, sorry about that. They're probably trying to call me from my radio show that I'm usually on. But so that's why we did it. So today we've got 3 great speakers. So our first speaker is going to be Joshua Zeppes. He's going to be talking about restarting your life. Rhonda Renee for overcoming challenge and change. And Justin Keir, why it's important not to do this alone. So I'll introduce our first speaker. Let me get Joshua on the stage. Hey, Joshua, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome so much, and thank you once again. So, Joshua, the stage is all yours.
Good morning, champions. Hope everyone's doing fantastic out there. What's interesting, I say good morning, champions at the beginning of every talk I do. And, I say it at 10 o'clock at night. I say it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, in the morning, because here's the thing. Somewhere along the line, we were told that good morning has something to do with time of day, but it doesn't. We're talking about today, my topic of my talk is restarting your life with clarity and purpose. And good morning is actually just a decision. So I want you to think about this. If something has happened earlier today, we're going through a lot of challenges right now. Maybe something bad has happened or some challenges happened earlier in the day. I want you to think of that as yesterday. That's what I do. I'm like, you know what? That thing that happened 3 hours ago, that thing that got in my way, that kind of threw my trajectory of my day off, that was yesterday. So I'm going to start a new day right now. Clean the slate, brand new day. You can make this decision any time of day. And if that's the case, if we're going to have a brand new day right now, then good morning, right? So it just makes sense. So that's just a little something I want to share with you guys. I love doing that. And then I called you guys champions. Yes, I accuse you of being champions. That's another whole different topic. But I hope you guys understand that you were born for greatness, and hope you realize that. So we're in a very interesting time right now. We've gotten a big wake-up call called COVID-19. And wake-up calls could be scary, but I want to submit to you that they're also very powerful. And I had gotten a wake-up call. My background, I'm Josh Zeppis, by the way. I'm a freedom fighter. I am a creator of Broke is No Joke, which is a movement towards true freedom. And I got a wake-up call that set me off on my journey. This is back, I spent 2 decades in corporate America. And when I was in corporate America, I was very, very successful. I climbed the ladder. At the end of my career, I was multi six-figure, stock options, parking space. I had it everything made. And then one day, everything I thought was right wasn't so right. I wasn't as happy as I wanted to be. I wasn't as wealthy as I needed to be. And I sure as heck wasn't free. So nowadays, so I escaped. And now what I do is help other people do the same. So my favorite F word is freedom. It used to be a different one in corporate America. I'll let you figure that one out. But I love that word, freedom. And that's what it's all about. So when we talk about restarting our lives with clarity and purpose, let's start off, let's talk about what clarity is. And by the way, that's one of my favorite C words. So I got favorite F words and C words and A words and all kinds of stuff like that. By the way, I'm a comedian, just not the funny kind, so forgive me. So clarity to me is certainty. It's certainty, it's confidence. Clarity is confidence. I want you to think about driving down the road and having the ability to see as far down the road as you need to ensure that you can go nice and fast and straight and stay on the road. But when it gets foggy and you don't have that clarity anymore, it gets scary, right? So clarity gives us some confidence. It's mindsight, not eyesight so much, but mindsight. It's motivation, right? When we can see where we're going, we have more confidence and we're more excited about getting there. So the opposite of clarity, in my opinion, is confusion. The opposite of clarity is not just, someone said earlier, I was talking with someone, they say chaos. I think it's more confusion. It's distraction. It's helplessness. It's fear, right? Without clarity, without being able to see where we're going, without having that clear picture and being able to restart with clarity, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. Let me give you an example. I was talking with a client yesterday, and it was a new client of mine, and she asked me, she found out I did Spartan racing, which is obstacle course racing over many, many miles. So climbing ropes and going through mud and swinging on trapeze and all kinds of weird stuff that we do. And she asked me a question. She says, how do you do it? How do you stay motivated to do the race? How come you don't quit halfway through because it looks so difficult? And I said, this is very simple. The first thing I do when I show up to the race is I find the finish line. The first thing I do. I get my race packet, I go into the race and I say, where's the finish line? And I go look at it. And I verify to myself that there actually is a finish line. So I told her the way I don't quit, what keeps me going is I have a clear mental picture that there's a goal, there's an end, that there's a purpose. So that's what keeps me going. In our lives, a lot of times we don't have the finish line. We don't have that clear picture of what the finish line looks like. So we're busy, we're doing a lot of things, we're struggling, we're sweating, we're tired, we're distracted, all this stuff's going on, and we forget why we're doing it. We don't even know why. We don't have that clear picture, that end goal. So that's what I explained to her. So it's just having that clear picture at the end. So restarting your life with clarity and purpose. So what I'd like to do is like to share 3 questions with everybody. And these to me are the 3 most important questions that we must have the answer to if you really do want to restart things with clarity and purpose. If you really, and not just clarity and purpose, but especially clarity of purpose. So these 3 questions, these are the big 3, I call them. And I'm going to share these with you. This is not usually where I start when I'm working with someone. Usually I like to start with, I call it your life is your business. So I usually like to start, it's kind of like building a business plan and a life plan, which is kind of the same thing if you think about it. I like to ask people, what is your business? And a lot of people say, well, I have a job, I don't have a business, I'm working real hard over here. I'm saying, well, but isn't your life your business? right? And if it's not your business, whose business is it? So I like the approach of all these business tools and all these things we do to build a business. Could we not apply it to our lives? Should we not have our own personal identity? Should we not know what we are? Maybe form a personal mission statement, which is the reason why we get out of bed each morning. Maybe have a vision statement that businesses have, but that also tells us what success looks like for us. So that's usually where I start, but these big three questions, I think are so crucial and appropriate to our topic for today. I want to spend the rest of the time, I just want to go through these with you guys. Okay, so the question number one, the very first question that you must answer if you want to restart with clarity and purpose is, what exactly do you want? What do you want? And it sounds like such a simple question, such a basic question. I understand you've probably heard the question before, but I ask that question to so many people I talk with, and very few people have a clear answer. Very few people really ask themselves that question. And that's a big shame, by the way, because coming from corporate America, I never asked myself that question. And I do ask people, I said, so have you ever considered this question? And they said, no. I said, well, why not? Why not ask this question to yourself? Why not figure out what you want? And what they tell me is heartbreaking. What they tell me is, why? What's the point? I can't get it anyways, right? So we've almost given up on ourselves. We've given up on even asking this very basic question. So when you ask this question, we need to do so with clarity. We need to do so, it's not just what do you want, but what does it look like? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? Every aspect of this question needs to be explored. It's got to be so clear, almost like you're able to live it. Let me give you an example here. I have a pen. Let me explain the importance of having clarity in what you want. This pen right here, and I know I can't hear you guys, so I'm just going to work with this. This pen right here, how many times was this pen made? And not this kind of pen or this brand, this exact one in my hand. I've heard answers anywhere from 1 time to millions. Let me submit to you, this pen right here was actually made 3 times. The first time it was made, it had to be an idea in someone's head. You see, this pen just did not pop into existence. It didn't roll off the assembly line like that. It had to start as an idea. Someone had to say, I have an idea for a pen that looks like this. If it didn't start here, it never would have made it any further. So the first time this pen is built is in someone's mind. The second time is on paper, specs, materials, dimensions, mechanical, all how it works. And then the third time, it's built on a manufacturing line, right? It's physically built, probably somewhere in China, right? It's okay, I sanitized, we're good. So this pen was built 3 times. So here's the thing. If you can't see it in your mind, you can't possibly hold it in your hands, right? It can't work that way. Things just don't pop into existence. So having that clarity on what you want, having that vision, here's what sometimes can help also, I recommend people do. Go test drive your dreams. Maybe that thing you want is a car. Go test drive it. Maybe you want that dream house. Go take a tour. Go put yourself, maybe you want to travel the world. Go stay at a Ritz-Carlton for 1 night and feel what it's like to have that kind of luxury. Make sure you can really experience it. And then make sure also that you dig deeper into this kind of level of clarity using the question why. The same lady yesterday, it's just interesting that this conversation happened. The same lady I was talking to yesterday, I asked her what she wants. I asked her that question. She says she wants an internship. Okay, I asked her why. That was the end. She didn't know why. It was something that she was told to do. It sounded right. So make sure you dig deep. Be careful not to get stuck on the superficial. For example, if I were to ask a person, what do you want? And they say, I want a car. Okay, great. Why do you want the car? Well, I want to travel and I want to be able to drive throughout the country. Great. Well, why do you want to drive throughout the country? Because I want to go to Nevada. Well, why do you want to go to Nevada? Because that's where my mom lives, and I want to visit her. Bam. You see that? We went from the person just wants a car to the true reason the person wants to visit his mom. So don't be afraid to keep drilling down using why and really, really get crystal clear on what that is. Okay, question number 2, make sure I keep on time here. Question number 2 is, why must you have it? Why? Now, not why do you want it? We've all heard that question before. You got to know your why. You got to know why you want it. No. Why must you have it? In other words, if you don't get it, will life go on? If it doesn't happen, will it just be another day and it's okay? Because if that's the case, you're gonna have a really, really hard time getting there. You're gonna have a really, really hard time getting to where you want to go. So it's got to be something that life can't go on. There's got to be something so authentic and important to you that if you can't answer that question, why must you have it? If it's like, well, I don't really have to have it, choose something else. Pick a different purpose. Pick a different goal, because otherwise it's probably not going to happen. The easiest example of this is your kids. If you have kids or if you have loved ones, your kids are next door to you right now, and that room just caught on fire, and they're starting to yell and scream. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to bust through that wall. You're going to break through that silly thing. You're going to break through that wall, or you're going to die trying, aren't you? Like, all of a sudden, nothing else matters. That must happen, right? People ask me all the time, they say, Josh, how do you avoid distraction? How do you avoid, right, going and losing your clarity and losing your purpose? Boy, distractions, for me, don't exist anymore. You see, distractions are those things. So if your kids are in that burning room and your one main focus is getting there, is helping them out of that room, do you care what's on TV? Do you care what's on social media? Do you care that you're running late to work? Do you care that there's a COVID-19 pandemic out there? For the moment, no. The only thing on your mind, laser focused, clear, is to get your kids out of that burning room, right? So when it's that important to you, when you've got that level of clarity and urgency and it's so authentic, bam, nothing can stop you. There are no distractions. Okay. Number 3, last question. First 2 are the hardest. What do you want with clarity? Number 2, why must you have it? The third one is, how are you going to get it? Right? And that's the easiest way. How are you going to get it? 2 parts to this question. One, the how part is the environment. What environment do you need to be in to get there? They say associations are the most important thing, right? You're going to be just like the 5 people you hang around. So environment is super, super important. And the one piece of advice I can give here is to don't listen to broke people on how to get wealthy. Don't listen to the unhappy on how to be happy. Don't listen to the unsuccessful on how to be successful. You catch my drift? Make sure you're in an environment of competence. You're in an environment of supportive people. So your environment is key. And it's not, people always focus on what they're eating, which is fine, what they're putting into their body. Don't forget about what you're putting into your mind. Make sure the source of information, make sure you're feeding your mind as well as you're feeding your body, because they're both vitally important when it comes to the how. The second part of the how is the details. Here's the good news. We're in the age of information. Maybe not the age of wisdom, but we're in the age of information. So the how is out there. It's been done before, right? My martial arts teachers told me the difference between knowledge and wisdom. He said, knowledge is knowing that tomatoes are fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put into fruit salad, right? So there is a difference. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna leave you with this last challenge, and super blessed to be able to share time with you. This last challenge is, what is the one thing that you can still accomplish in 2020 that will make this the best year you've ever had? Don't worry about 100 different things. What's the one thing that if you were to accomplish it would make this the best year you've ever had? Take that one thing, apply these 3 questions, and go after it, guys. I love you all. I'm blessed and honored to be able to share time with you. Go make it happen. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joshua. I loved your message. I love your message of freedom. And, you know, it's kind of what was going through my mind, how ironic is, you know, some of us feel in a cage, but yet this is, I find so many people were having time to reflect about our why. You know, why are we going to that job? Why are we working on this? Why? So I love your message. I think this will really help people to build some kind of a framework around those thoughts. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
And so how can people get a hold of you if you want to know more?
If you want to talk with me, go to brokeisnojoke.org, and there's a button you can click on to set up a schedule a time to talk with me, or go find me on social media at brokeisnojoke.
All right. Once again, thank you so very much, Josh, for your
Thank you guys too.
today. All right. I'm going to welcome our next speaker, Rhonda, to the stage. I'll ask her to turn her video on. Welcome, Rhonda.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm fantastic.
And so you're going to be sharing with us about overcoming challenge and change, right?
Yes, overcoming specifically the challenges of change.
Challenges of change. Oh, perfect. I can't wait to hear your talk. So, Rhonda, the stage is all yours.
What do you do when the world has been completely turned upside down? How are we supposed to handle that when predictable daily routines have been disrupted? You know, think about other times in your life when change has shown up for you. Do you get excited? You go, wee! Or do you tend to want to have things just go back to normal, right? The way that they were? Do you tend to adapt quickly, or do you struggle with the uncertainty of things? You know, Charles Darwin said, it's not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the ones most responsive to change. And right now we are experiencing the most extreme case of collective change that we've seen, and for many of us, right, our lifetimes. I'm Rhonda Renee of DivineNavigation.com. We support you to live, love, and work as a soul from your soul. And today I want to share with you the ADAPT formula. And this is a formula that I originally created back in 2014 when I had been on a particularly wild roller coaster ride of, could you try again? Siri wants to get involved with us to be at the end of a big time period of change. I experienced almost everything that you could think of. I got divorced. I also got an annulment. I had a career change. I had a foreclosure. I had a bankruptcy. I started a new business. I dealt with family members with addiction and another with a terminal illness. And I had to find my way through that. So the ADAPT formula was birthed from that, from my PhD in change. And so this is a simple 5-step process that will allow you to navigate any change with ease. And once you learn the sequence, you'll be able to use it every day to move through literally any change or upset in practically minutes. Now, for the bigger changes, like the kind of things that we're experiencing right now, that's going to take a bit more time, right? You're going to spend more significant time in each stage, but the formula works every single time. And I just had to bring this back out. Like I said, I created this in 2014. You can find out more about Divine Navigation itself. This kind of sits outside of the core work that I do, but it's an amazing process that I personally use all the time, and I want to give it to you today. So I'm going to go through it rather quickly, but I'll make sure to tell you where you can get a copy for yourself. So the first step in ADAPT is allow, and that is about allowing your emotions. You know, it's scary right now, not knowing, you know, particularly if you're facing a limitation in your income, if you have family members that are ill, or you're more concerned about them getting ill because they're at higher risk. The thing about emotions is that they need to be felt, that if we just stuff them down, they don't actually go anywhere. So we need to give ourselves the grace and the space, I like to say, to just feel whatever it is we're feeling. It's not always the easiest thing to allow us to do, to allow ourselves to do, but it's a requirement. And the great thing is that when you feel it, it's released. And most of the time we avoid emotion because we're more concerned about getting stuck in that emotion. And we think if we don't feel it, that we are free from it. But it's actually the opposite. If you're not feeling it, you're already stuck in the emotion. So, you know, if you need to cry for 10 minutes or an hour, whatever it is, let yourself do that. That's liberating to your entire nervous system. And there's actually a complete video series I recently did for the ADAPT formula where I go into each one of these steps and give you the actual tools, simple ways to start to feel your feelings in a way that's going to be safe and non-threatening. So I wish I had enough time to share all of that with you today, but I'll tell you how you can get that, as I mentioned. So that's A, allow. The D is for discover. And this is about discovering your inner resources, because what I know is that you have within you everything you need to navigate this situation. We have so much inside of us that we mostly don't tap into. You know, we get conditioned to believe that it's the outside world that creates that safety and security for us. But it's actually never going to be a time when the outside world is in the perfect place, right? It's sort of like rearranging a room, we think, right? Put everything in place, go, okay, now it's good. Now nobody move, nothing change. That's not life. Life is a living, breathing organism, and it's always changing and evolving. You know, as they say, if you're not living, you're dying, right? So if things are not evolving and not progressing, that's not really life. So understanding that you have everything inside of you that is required to navigate any situation, actually, that life gives you. In our deeper work in divine navigation, our foundational process is called the divine coordinates process, where we identify the specific, unique, energetic qualities that make up your soul. And the rub is that whatever your divine coordinates are is why you have certain life experiences. It's not the other way around, right? One might think we have life experiences and that turns us into someone. Well, it can turn us into someone, but that's a personality approach. Your soul came in as it is, and it's all the other stuff that gets put on top of it. And the life experiences that are brought to you is to help you learn to be who you were designed to be. And it could go either direction. You can go more towards soul or more towards personality. Your inner resources are about your soul, and you have everything that you need. Time to tap into those. Again, in the video series, I share my favorite tools for that. The second A is accept. And this can be the hardest one. And actually, this is the place where how well you do with it will show you, is there more work to do in allow or in discover first. So accepting is about accepting that you can't go back to the way things were, right? There isn't going to be, oh, we're all back to normal. We're all going to be changed through this situation, right? And that's the point, is that we're being led somewhere. So when we can say, okay, that is done, how do I move forward, right? What is waiting for me? What is on the other side of this? And the more that you can accept, like I said, this will give you some indication about if there's more work to do in the allow step or in the discover step. And that's okay, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, that's where our work really is, to move forward and really go to the next level. The next step is participate. The P stands for participate. And that's about participating with what's happening, right? So as I mentioned, there's this instinct when, like, say we lose a job, let's talk about what the current situation is, but let's also talk about all the changes that we commonly face in life. So if you lose a job, the instinct is to, oh, quick, let me go replace it. And we tend to go replace it with what we know. Well, what if you were let go of that job? You were liberated from that job because it's finally time for you to go do your own thing, right? You've had this idea, you've had this desire, and you needed a push. If a relationship ends, do you try to get it back, whether it be that exact one or another one to replace it, because that's a comfort zone? Well, what if it's time for you to spend some time on your own, either for some personal work that's wanting your attention, or maybe just for timing, because that perfect for you partner will be available soon. And you are best if you stay available, right? So paying attention to, are you trying to recreate the past, or are you in a true point of creation by participating with what's happening for you? Trusting that the universe is taking you in a direction of your highest good. Then the final step is transform. And this really is not a full step on its own. It's kind of the culmination of all the others. It's about transforming into the person that you are meant to be by letting your soul guide you, by letting divine navigation lead the way, understanding that your life is a path and there's a purpose to all of this, to your life. And I have a different perspective on purpose than a lot of people do, because I really know that purpose is not a project. It's not a mission. It's not anything that you do. It's about who you're being and who you're becoming. And I feel that self-mastery is our purpose, all of us. But what I'm mastering is different than what you're mastering, right? And that's revealed in our divine coordinates. Those are the specific pathways along which your soul intended to master, and they are unique to every one of us. So using that change, right? Using the circumstances and what other people would see as challenges as opportunities. Thinking about this current situation, what are the beautiful gifts that are coming out of this, right? How is our world going to be transformed? You know, I have a lot of awarenesses about what some of those things are, but one of the biggest ones is really understanding how we can no longer imagine that we're not all connected, right? This is a literal in-your-face proof that we are all one, and every single thing that we do impacts everyone else. That's just one of the ways we're going to be transformed. So I invite you to see change in a new way, to see it as your ally, to see it as a partner in your overall evolution and the embodiment of your soul. It's hard to do at first, perhaps, but with the ADAPT formula, try it out on something small. Even when you get frustrated, it's amazing even how a small frustration can be transformed in a matter of moments. So you can get your own copy of the ADAPT formula at divinenavigation.com/adapt-formula. It's divinenavigation.com/adapt-formula. And as I mentioned, there is a video, a short video, they're between 10 and 15 minutes or so for each step, that we will also send you to walk you through and give you practical application of each and every one of these steps. And then also your own guide that tells you each of the steps in visual form. I know I'm super visual, so I love to have that. So that's the ADAPT formula, and I hope that you will apply it today.
Thank you so very much. What a great message, Rhonda. And I one thing that really hit me that you said was how we are all connected. And I really think this is really making us come to that realization that small things, like things you touch, where you go, how you take care of yourself, I mean, is having huge ripple effects into the universe. And I think it's making many of us more aware than ever of that. So
yeah, the ramifications. Yeah, it is amazing to think how many people touch this item I just bought at the grocery store before it got to me, right? It's easy to walk around the world thinking, you know, I'm in my own bubble and they're in their own bubble. It's not the case.
not the case. And this really is bringing this to awareness. And that really, a lot of things you said resonated with me, but that one really hit me, because it is like every little thing, you know, how long we wash our hands for, you know, when we come back from being out, from getting the essentials, you know, are we taking care of ourselves by laundering our clothes that we just, I mean, all these little things. And so I think, and many of us are getting a better appreciation for that. So I really appreciate you.
And one more thing I'll add to, Don, is, if we have time, is the fact for me is that I feel like when things are most uncertain is when the most possibility exists. Because if we think we know exactly what life should look like, or will look like, we're actually the ones that are limiting what could happen for ourselves. So how can we get comfortable with not knowing, right? That's when we're really creating. That's when something new can happen.
Yeah, I love that perspective. And I think many people are having a little bit of time to think about that, right? They're off of the hamster wheel of, oh, I got to go to this networking thing, and Thursday I go to this meeting and that meeting, or if I have a job, I go on the commute for 45 minutes and I go, and you're on this hamster wheel, and the hamster wheel kind of has slowed down for most of us. At
a lot of people.
We're not driving. We're not in the car driving as much. So I really think this may be a time for collective reset of what we're doing with our souls and how we're taking care of that piece of us that many of us are, because we're on the hamster wheel. It's kind of hard, right?
Yeah. Yep. If anything is being prioritized over your soul, now is the time to reconsider that.
Well, thank you so very much for joining us. Thanks for volunteering your time, your energy, your message to share with people today, Rhonda.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So our last speaker from the day, Justin Keir, is going to be sharing with us his message about why it's so important not to do this alone and who you may want to be going down this path. So let me click some buttons and welcome Justin to the stage. Hey, Justin.
How are you, sir?
Really good, really good. I appreciate you. I can't wait to hear your message. And Justin, the stage is yours.
Well, I definitely really appreciate this opportunity and this time that we're in right now. I think it's more important than ever that we recognize how important it is to have other people around us. And I want you to start by picturing with me a guy with a pickup truck. And I'm from Georgia, I'm from the South, and so we have a lot of guys with pickup trucks around here. But I want you to picture the pickup truck with a whole bunch of stuff in the back. And one of the, we've all seen them, they're driving down the road and it is just filled with junk and miscellaneous, and it's all just balanced precariously, all about to fall out. I picture some guy taking ropes, throwing them over, trying to keep everything contained. And that's an image that I used when I did my TEDx talk last year, because I think that is something we all resonate with. We all have all these things in our lives that we are just trying to hold together and contain. And that's physically, but that's mentally and emotionally as well. And if you picture that guy, if you picture yourself with all those things in the back that you're trying to contain, you've got ropes, you're throwing them all over, you're tying them down, and a lot of times you end up tying ropes together because they're just not quite long enough to contain everything that's back there. And we end up tying all these knots in our life. And all of us are leaders to one degree or another, whether you're a leader of a lot of people, a business, an organization, a corporate team, or you're just trying to lead your family. We all have these areas of our life that we're tying knots together, just trying to hold it all down. Because the worst thing you can imagine is you're driving down the road and one of those knots breaks and everything just gets strewn along the road behind you. But there's a problem with knots. And you may not realize this, but knots, whenever a knot is tied in a rope, it instantly weakens the rope, usually by 20 to 40%. But as soon as a knot is tied in a rope, it instantly weakens the rope. And if a rope is strained to the point where it breaks, it will always, always, always fail at the knot. And on top of that, when a rope is under repeated dynamic stress, it will always fail at the knot. A knot will always break if you put it under enough repeated dynamic stress. And I don't know about you, but this seems like a time when there's constant repeated and dynamic stress in a lot of people's lives. But the approach that we take is to continue to try to do it ourselves. And if you think back to almost any ancient civilization or organization or country or people group, in ancient days, they actually used banishment as a form of death. One of the worst things that they could do to you is to send you out on your own. And they knew that if we wanted to kill someone, we will send them out alone and separate them from everybody else. And so if we stick briefly with that example of a knot in our life, if we do have these things that we're trying to hold together, if we do have these things we're trying to tie down, there's actually a better way to join ropes together. And that's called a splice. And a splice is where you actually take two ends of a rope, you unravel them a little bit, some vulnerability has to take place there. You weave the ends of the rope together, and it actually is a way of joining ropes together that maintains every bit of a rope's true strength. And so for us, as we're going through this part of our life, as we're going through challenges that you're probably going through right now, one of the most important things we can be doing is finding other people around us that we can splice our lives together with, that we can actually go through this entire process, not just the current situation that may be going on right now, but our entire life, understanding that I'm better when I have other people around me. But what I think gets lost, though, is what those people should look like. And that's one of the things in my talk last year that I didn't quite get to, and I've had a lot of people asking me about. It's like, all right, I got it. I need to have other people around me, but who should they be? And even that famous quote that we're the average of the 5 people we surround ourselves with, that's all well and good, but what should those people look like? And I believe that there are 4. I believe that there are 4 people in our lives that we should surround ourselves with. But before I get to them, one of the things that we have to take into consideration is there's always a balance between surrounding ourselves with people that are like us and surrounding ourselves with people that are not like us. And I believe there's a place for both. If all you do is surround yourself with people that you don't share values with, and you don't share common goals and beliefs and again, values, you're going to set yourself up for a pretty miserable life. So it's okay to have people around you that you identify with. That's part of our human condition, is that we want to surround ourselves with people that are like us. And there is value in that. But at the same time, we have to be careful not to just surround ourselves with people that are like us, because there are other people that bring things to the table that we don't. And I use an example. One of the things I talk about when I do corporate workshops, and we talk about teams and team development, is one of the biggest things that you can grab hold of is the fact that someone that has a skill set and a personality set that's not like yours brings something incredibly valuable to the table. And I use the example in my own life of, for me, one of the things that I'll use the word hate, and I don't use that word lightly, but one of the things that I hate more than anything else is accounting. It just the word sends chills up and down the back of my neck, like numbers and spreadsheets, and I just want to, I just can't take it. But one of the things that I appreciate the most is accountants, because they not only do something that I don't do well, but they enjoy it. So there are going to be aspects of your life, aspects of what's going on, that it's one thing to think that that's something that I understand is an important thing and is a valuable thing, but I can bring people into my life that add something that I don't. So it's one thing to keep in mind as we talk about these 4 types of people that we should all be surrounding ourselves with, is yes, having some people around you that are like you, that have shared goals, visions, dreams, and mindsets, but also recognizing there need to be people in your life that bring something to the table that you don't. So the 4 types of people that you should be surrounding yourself with, most likely as I talk about these, you're going to identify very closely with 1 or 2 of them. And that's okay. But these are 4 types of people. And the first one, if we use the analogy of driving along the road, whether you've got a pickup truck with a whole bunch of stuff in it or not, these are also people you could picture being with you on a road trip, which we haven't been doing a lot of, but picture yourself going on a road trip. And one of the things you need, one of the people you need around you is a driver. You need someone not just that has control of your life. That's not what I'm saying. You need people in your life that see the value of accomplishing goals, that see the value of here's what we're going after. What are the objectives that we have? Where are we going? When are we trying to get there? If you picture a dad that's, get in the car, kids, we're not stopping until we get there. There should be people in your life that push you and drive you, that actually say, don't do that, or do that. That people that can actually give you a kick in the pants sometimes when you need it. When you're sitting around and you're not quite sure what to do, or you're making a mistake, you need people in your life that will actually tell you the truth and be honest with you and push you forward. You need people around you that will drive you. You also need people, though, that will help you with a map. So if you are on that road trip, you do need someone around you that understands the value and the need for having a plan. That not only is going to help push you towards your objective, to help you get there faster, to push their foot down on the gas pedal, but someone that knows, here's how we're going to get there. We're going to go this way. And then we're going to take a left at the gas station. And then we'll go 5 miles and we're going to take a right. And you need someone that has that level of planning built into their DNA. And for some of you that resonates with think, hey, that's me already. Other people, that's not your natural tendency. And so you need people around that can actually be an example. And these shouldn't be people in your life that are picking up the map for the first time. So it's not someone that just got handed a roadmap, and we don't use a lot of road maps lately. It's more GPS than anything. But I used to love, even as a kid, having that big Rand McNally Atlas map of the states as you were going on road trips. But it shouldn't be someone that just got handed a map and now they're trying to tell you how to get there. The person with the plan should be someone that's gone there already. They should be an expert, maybe a mentor, maybe someone that can say, yes, here's the mistakes I made, here's the wrong turns that I made, here's the errors that I made over the course of my life, here's how we can keep some of those from happening in yours. The third person that you need to make sure that is in your life, though, is someone that actually probably battles a little bit with that last person, and that's the person that's always watching for possibilities. The person that understands that there's a reason that the windshield in your car is this big and the rear view mirror is this big. Someone that is looking out the window, that is seeing new possibilities, that is looking ahead, that is looking for new ways of doing things. Because without that person in your life, you may have the planner, you may have the map, but it's like that scene in The Office where they're driving along following the GPS and they end up taking a ride. It's like, yeah, the GPS says turn right. And the other guy says, no, but there's a lake there. No, but the GPS says to turn right. And they turn right and they go right into a lake. It's important to have a plan. It's important to have a process to walk through, to walk out. But you need to have people around you and people in your life that can actually bring new possibilities into it. New ways of doing things, new ways of looking at the situation and the scenarios. And so, be perfectly honest, I'm not much of the first two that we talked about. I'm not much of a driver. I'm not much of a, we got to have everything planned out, but it's why I coach. Because it's one of the things that I get to do is to bring new possibilities to people, to ask questions that make them think of things in ways that they haven't. But even for me, even though that's one of my natural tendencies, I have to have people around me that do that for me. It's one of the reasons coaches always have coaches. It's because they see the value in it. Some of the highest achieving people in the world understand the value of having people that provide perspectives that they haven't thought of and haven't considered. And then finally, the fourth person, that's the three. You need the driver, you need someone that's pushing forward, that's always always moving forward towards their goals. You need someone with a roadmap, someone with experience that's actually gone that way before that you can follow. You need someone bringing new possibilities and new ways of thinking in the mix. Then you always need that person. You need them on a road trip too, that's just there for support, that's there to ask, how are you? And on a practical sense, on a road trip, it's the person that's asking, do we need to stop for the bathroom? Do we need to turn the music down? Do we need to get some snacks? Is it time to eat now? How's the air conditioning back there? You need people in your life that are actually going to ask, how are you? How are you doing? You need people that can just listen. It's helpful to have that first person I mentioned to push you forward. But there are times in your life when you need people around you that can just ask how you are. They can just listen. They may not hand you the roadmap right now. That may not be what you need. They may not need to think of 19 different ways of looking things or 17 different possibilities or upending your whole world. Your whole world might have been upended already. And so if we have a life where we have those people around us, we can ensure that the steps forward that we're taking, the journey that we're on, that we're all going on, nothing is being missed. Nothing's being left out. We have direction and a goal that we're heading towards. We have someone that can actually show us the way of how to get there, that can walk us through a plan and a process and a way of doing things. We have people around us that can give those new insights, that can look at new possibilities, that can look at new ways of doing things. And then you have people in your life that are just there, that are just there as a support and a resource, someone to hear you out, someone to just be a shoulder to lean on. So if you've bought into that in your own life, that we can't do this alone, that's awesome. If not, I feel for you. Because knots, the other thing about knots is that they always fail eventually. When there's enough repeated stress on a knot, it's going to fail. And so if you're that guy or girl watching this that has that metaphorical pickup truck with all those things piled high inside that you're just trying to hold together, the next step is to look at those people around you and make sure you have those 4 people in your life. Make sure you have people that are providing those 4 different perspectives. If you don't, look for them. And my best advice is to the people that are around you. Ask them. If you don't have anybody around you, look for them. Because you may tell yourself that, yes, I looked for them, but you may not have known who you were looking for. So as you are looking at the people around you, whether it's a lot or a little, look for those 4 people in your life. Look for the people that can drive forward and that are pushing ahead, that are driven and really going after it. Look for the people that have a plan, that are cautious, that are walking this out step by step. Look for people that have new insights and perspectives and ways of doing things, and then look for the person that's just going to be there and listen. They're out there, and you'll find them. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Justin. I think it was absolutely fantastic. I love, surrounding ourselves with people. One thing that occurred to me as you were speaking is, a lot of us are at home not doing some of the normal things of being out around other people. But one thing I've seen is there's never been more opportunity to connect with more people than there is like right now. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. And I think part of it is because people are recognizing how important that is. And they're just realizing what it feels like when they're just isolated and they're making more of an effort. But I think more and more people are looking for people to connect with right now than ever before.
Yeah, there's a group that I really loved out of Phoenix called Network Together, and they're a networking organization in the Phoenix area, and they traditionally have done most of their meetings in person. Well, now, obviously, they switched to online meetings. So there's like hundreds of meetings, and I'm sure they're not the only ones. But if people want to go there, they can find it at inetworkevents.net. And, there's tons of opportunities for get out and meet those people and try to come across those people that you were talking about, those people.
Absolutely.
So thank you again so very much. If people want to get a hold of you, how can they do so?
I'm definitely on social media, so you can look for me there. Also, my website is JustinKearSpeaks.com. So if you go to JustinKearSpeaks.com, you'll find more information. Find the link to my TED Talk from last year, too. You can check that out if you're interested. All
right. Thank you so very much for your contributions today.
Thanks.
So, wow, what great talks today. Really, I had a fantastic, I was taking all kinds of notes. I got writer's cramp, and I know that these speakers helped a lot of people out there. But we're not done. We're doing this every weekday. So we'll be back, same bat time, same bat channel on Monday, where we'll have 3 more speakers. We'll have Julie Court, who's going to share with us the 3 battle cries to contain trauma. We'll have Karen, I hope I get your last name right, Nihawan, who will be sharing us how to use epic networking dinners virtually to become the epicenter of your network. And Karen Joy Fritz will be sharing with us how Enneagrams work and how to unlock your loop and break free. So I really just can't wait for those speakers. Again, this platform, Messages of Inspiration, Hope, and Support, is sponsored by Speakers Pathway. We're the stage warriors putting on this platform for speakers to come and share. If you've got a message, reach out to me. You know how to get a hold of me, Don McGrath. We're either friends or you're seeing this, just comment, find me, and I'll tell you how to apply to become one of our speakers. And so some people have asked me, tell me more about Speakers Pathway. We've actually attracted a lot of attention in putting this on. So Speakers Pathway, ironically, very few of our members are speakers. They're entrepreneurs who see speaking as a part of their business. Typically, they've been in business a year or more and just not getting the results that they want. And we really help them to find their fast path to cash and then build that into a sustainable and flourishing business. So if you want to know more, go to speakerspathway.com. And this is Don McGrath, co-founder. If you want to know more, reach out to me. My dog's going nuts, so I'm going to end the show right now. All right. Take care, everyone.